pole position then for Ben and Tom Birchall, and it's damp. So the tyre choice will have been an interesting one. Nobody will be on full wets, I'm sure. So it's a somewhat depleted grid, but as the lights go out, will that Honda get the drag off the line? Again, Blackstock and Rosny move across. Phil Bell and Jimmy Cole slotting in to third place ahead of John Holden. That is a brilliant, brilliant start from Phil Bell. Phil Bell, number 18 then, the man from Northumberland. Bell's a very famous racing family, and Phil carrying on that tradition with his Scottish passenger. And Jimmy Connell's son Declan rides in British Junior Super Sport, so he's got very much a double interest in the BSB paddock these days. John Holden, Jason Pitt, number 2 on the blue outfit, in 4th place ahead of Ben Holland and Tom Christie. Then it's George Holden and Oscar Lawrence on the number 93 Suzuki. Complete mixture, all Japanese engine manufacturers represented here. It's a Honda at the lead of the race with Ben and Tom Birchall. We have predominantly Yamahas, but we have a couple of Suzukis in the hands of Scott Lorry and George Holden. And we have one Kawasaki, you're looking at it now, the number 60 of Ben Holland and Tom Christie. John Holden then having a really, really good look at Phil Bell. This is the battle for 3rd place. And George Holden on the back of that bunch as well. So 4 outfits here really getting in the mix. Out in front already though, Ben and Tom Birchall through the woodland section. 2nd place Lewis Blackstock and Paddy Rosny. They've been reliable 2nd place podium runners, having finished in that place so many times. Side by side then, John Holden and Jason Pitt claim the 3rd place from Phil Bell. George Holden equally has gone through on Ben Holland. So are we going to get the battle of the Holdens, father and son? John Holden, TT winner, number 2. Vastly experienced. The wrong side of 60 these days, John Holden. But there's his son, George, number 93 on the black outfit, looking at the back, and behind him on the other black outfit, the all black outfit, Scott Lorry and Shelley Smithers on their Suzuki, having rebuilt that bike after a massive crash here 2 weeks ago. Scott Lorry had to go to a family party at his home in Slovenia and directed rebuild operations on that bike pretty much on the telephone. He said, my mobile phone bill was colossal because I was talking to the Birchalls, I was talking to the fairing builder, everything was going on remotely. He said, I hardly touched a spanner. George Holden just clipping the curb there through ahead of Scott Lorry. Andy Peach and Ken Edwards there on the Life Safety Yamaha. Sat and had a couple of beers with them last night. Lovely guys, good family and good evening atmosphere. And the Sidecar paddock always very welcoming. And nobody was going very far last night. It was dismal here at Cadwell Park weather-wise. And fortunately that's improved for this 2nd race. We're going to get all 10 laps here, I am pretty certain. Scott Lorry and Shelley Smith, his lady passenger there, tucking down on the number 72 outfit. Kevin Cable and Rick Lawrence, the father of the passenger in the number 93 outfit, have retired. So Kevin Cable ordinarily would have been on World Championship duty, and it looks like Rupert Archer is in a bit of a problem here because the number 62 outfit going alongside them, that is Chris Wright and Paul Bailey going through on the number 62 outfit. I said yesterday they were 62. They were both born in 1962, hence the number. So that makes them 59 years of age. That is the Ride F1 chassis that is dicing now with the Adolf RS. So neither of those bikes on LCR chassis. The Ride F1 then going past Rupert Archer. That's an impressive piece of kit. And this man, Andy Peach, is rumoured to be riding the new design Ride F1 chassis later in the season to take it to the next stage of development. That will be good indeed, because somebody with the experience of Peach and Edwards need to be on that bike. Race leaders, Ben and Tom Birchall now, and Lewis Blackstock and Paddy Rosny are on the back of them. They are not getting away. It's 1.6 seconds over the line last time. Lewis Blackstock and Paddy Rosney on the number 95 distinctive red outfit. Been together all their racing career, these boys, and it shows, just as the crew in front of them, the Birchall brothers, have done the same. Fastest lap then, 1:33.3. Nowhere near the lap record of 1:32.4, but I tell you what, in these conditions, that is not too shabby. So Lewis Blackstock and Paddy Rosney very much on a charge here. Looking back further down the road, third place, the outfit. Oh, look at this, fighting back, Ben Holland on Phil Bell and Jimmy Connell. So Ben Holland fighting his way through. No sign now of George Holden and Oscar Lawrence. They were going strongly in these early stages. Up from Portsmouth, Ben Holland and Tom Christie, the third of the Racing Christie brothers from Beverley. Sam and Adam, his siblings, out of the Thruxton event with a big crash. And Tom, twin brother to the injured Adam. Look at this, the battle at the front then. Ben and Tom Birchall, whether they've lifted off or whether Lewis Blackstock and Paddy Rosney have found something remains to be seen. That Honda, the Hayth Honda, so quick in the dry, has less of an advantage when the conditions are like this, of course. And Lewis Blackstock smells possibly the top step of the podium here at half distance. 5 laps completed of 10. Blackstock and Rosney throwing it, the passenger doing an absolutely amazing job. Paddy Rosney, I remember when these two first came into the World Championship with their short outfit. Once they got on the long bike, they never really looked back. But now we've got these two at the front, way back further down the order. And there, number 17, that's Craig Clark and Peter Ensor, who retired from proceedings yesterday. They're ahead of Archer and Hyde, and behind them we are still looking for Chris Wright and Paul Bailey, the number 62. But Rupert Archer and Phil Hyde seem to have got second wind now. Craig Clark on another Honda, the number 17 bike from Canvey Island, the second of the two Hondas in the race. Craig Clark, a very good competitor, always supports this championship. Rupert Archer moving out and going past, so Phil Hyde, vastly experienced at the Cadwell Revival here. He rode on the long bike with Rupert Archer and on an F2 outfit with Gary Bryan, so he was jumping from one outfit to another, and he confessed to being a little bit rusty and a bit stiff on Monday morning. I'm not surprised. At the front then, we've taken a couple of tenths out. It's just about a second as they went over the line this time. So as Lewis Blackstock and Paddy Rosney closing on the back of the Birchalls, it's looking good now for them. It's a 20-point position they sit in. They're already second in the championship, but the deficit between them and the guys leading the race on the Hayth Honda, a massive 107 points coming into this race. It will need something catastrophic to happen to the Birchalls between now and the end of the season for them not to win this championship, and we all sincerely hope that they manage to do it and bring it home, because for them to race at their calibre in the British Championship, that's something come adrift. So a bit of debris. Was that off the back of the number 62? So the number 62 ride F1 bike, having shed something from it. It looks as though it's something from underneath as they went across. Look, could well be the front mudguard. The front mudguard sits down behind the front wheel, obviously, and right in front of the driver's hand, so that could well be the front mudguard section. Either way, Chris Wright saw it go, and as it left the cockpit, he was fully aware of it, so he will know if it's an important component. Paul Bailey over the back end of the Ride F1, the race at the front there, Blackstock down to another 2 tenths, down to 0.7 as they go over the line this time on lap 7. 6 completed And Blackstock and Rosny closing in on Ben and Tom Birchall. Blackstock and Rosny just getting quicker all the time, lap after lap after lap, taking chunks out now. I'd be very interested to see what tyres they've put on. Did Ben and Tom go on full wets? I do not know. I was in the commentary box finishing off the junior Superstock race, so I didn't get a chance to look at tyre choice, but it could be that Blackstocks have got a tyre on that's bringing the race leaders back to them, and we are set for something approaching a grandstand finish here, going into the closing stages. On lap 7, still a long way to go. Ben and Tom Birchall's outfit, is it moving around? Let's try and have a look and tell you where we'll get to see when we come into the woodland section. Their pit board will be telling them that Blackstock and Rosny are closing in. There's that little piece of debris, fortunately off the racing line. Lewis Blackstock and Paddy Rosny are looking sensational here. And there's a back marker, that is indeed the number 62 Ride F1 outfit. Ben and Tom Birchall move alongside and onto the wet line. Blackstock and Rosny have got to go the other side, going into Coppice. Blue flags being waved, yes, through they go. Coppice then, and then up the hill to the right-hander of Charlie's. This is a double apex, it goes round and round and round, and then away down Park Straight at something approaching 130 miles an hour. To the right-hander at the top. Blackstock and Rosny then on the back of Ben and Tom Birchall. You can hear the Honda, the dry-sumped Honda, the inclined Honda CBR 600 in that Haith-sponsored machine, screaming away. The Yamaha behind them on the express tyres bike of Blackstock and Rosny. Down they go towards the left-hander, having come through the gooseneck nicely. They're at Mansfield now, along to the chicane. Still a long way to go on lap 8. So over the line next time, it will be the penultimate lap they are commencing. At the foot of the mountain, up and over the mountain go Ben and Tom Birchall. Blackstock and Rosny. Have they taken anything out of them this time? The gap over the line last time, 0.3 of a second. These boys are riding an inspired race here. Although, has Ben Birchall pulled the pin? Let's have a look as they go over the line. It was 0.39 last time. Over the line they go, 0.32, so they've taken 700ths out of them, but it's now visible. They're right on the back as they get into Coppice and up to Charlie's. Round Charlie's they go. Don't get too excited, a long way to go. Still on the penultimate lap, so 4 miles of Cadwell Park to do. The Ben and Tom Birchall away on the grass there. Sidecar wheel over the curb. So it's moving around. They are losing some tyre adhesion, I would have thought. But we've got a race on our hands. Tom Birchall just draped over the side, hanging on grimly. Paddy Rosny draped over the side, flicking it left and right down through the gooseneck at Mansfield. Have Ben and Tom Birchall done enough now to bring this home? Vastly experienced, these boys. But it does seem that Lewis Blackstock and Paddy Rosny are quicker in the woodland section. On the penultimate lap, keep it together, boys. Over the mountain you go, close them in, coming into Hall Bends. Still that piece of debris there. It's out of harm's way, that's for sure. Blackstock and Rosny down towards the old hairpin. Round they go. Then the short sprint down towards Barn, where there was a building. No longer is there a building. That's where Taz Mackenzie's Yamaha ended up the other side of that tyre wall yesterday in a massive crash in Superbike. But now, on the final lap then, the first and second in the race, have Blackstock and Rosny got what it takes going into the final lap to wind these boys in? It looks like a big gap. It was 4 seconds over the line, so they've pulled the pin and they've opened that gap. Birchall's up to Park. And then the short sprint along to Chris Curve. It's getting to be now or never time for Blackstock and Rosny. There is a back marker a good way down the road, but I don't think they'll catch them unless they come into play in the woodland section. On the final lap, Ben and Tom Birchall, Hayth Honda, lead Lewis Blackstock and Paddy Rosny on the Express tyres Yamaha, the number 95 red, and there it's Craig Clark and Peter Ensor. They will indeed catch them. Now the blue flags, presumably as they go over the mountain, will come into play, and through they go. Have they got them before Hall Bend? Yes, through go Blackstock and Rosny. The chase to the checkered flag is on, but it's going to be a Birchall victory here. Down to the old hairpin they go. The short sprint then towards Barn. Round Barn corner. Ben and Tom Birchall on target for a second consecutive victory. And they've won all but 2 races in the 2021 Molson Group British Sidecar Championship. Tailenders, Clark and Ensor go over the line. It's third place for Ben Holland and Tom Christie, and another podium having got the better of John Holden and Jason Pitt. We didn't see that because we were so enchanted with what was going on. A great podium. So thrilled for Ben Holland and Tom Christie ahead of John Holden. And over the line next comes Scott Lorry and Shelley Smithers ahead of Phil Bell and Jimmy Connell. What a battle that was, but victory to Ben and Tom Birchall yet again. 16 minutes of racing round here, and me 16 minutes of talking. 1:33.316, fastest lap by Blackstock and Rosny. A game and very brave effort, not quite good enough, but Birchall's knew they had a race on their hands. Well, there was plenty of drama further down the field, but no mistaking what happened at the front. Just under a second, the winning margin Birchall's had over Blackstock and Rosny. Ben Holland, Tom Christie completing the podium, fractionally ahead of John Holden, Jason Pitt. Laurie and Smithers, great result for them. And Bell and Connell certainly started strongly, and 10 points they get for 6th place ahead of George Holden, Peach, Robinson, and Rupert Archer, Phil Hyde in the top 10. And the Birchalls march on, Blackstock and Rosny 1:12 behind them. But it's damage limitation as far as those boys are concerned. Holland now firmly established in 3rd place in the championship for John Holland Racing. Brilliant to see those boys there. John Holden, Laurie, Archer, Peach. Christie's sadly slipping backwards because they're out of it for the rest of the year.